VMworld party was so amazing. So some of these empty seats, we're going to make fun of them later on when they come in. Can we have everybody come move forward, please, and have a seat so we can get started? Thank you. So you know why you're here? Good morning. How is the energy? I'm not going to do the same thing. How's the energy? But great week, obviously, at VMworld. Thank you for joining us today. We have an amazing agenda. And this talk and Maynard with Nexenta. This is our 10th year at VMworld. We're doing this event. Every year, VMworld, as it comes to a close, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday is our event that we have the CEO Summit with an amazing agenda. As you can see, the agenda is very tight. We have a speed date format, not many slides, a lot of conversations, and a lot of breaks for people to network and meet each other. The agenda is very heavy, but very high level. We have a great guest. We're going to start with Carl Eschenbach in a few minutes. Then we're going to go on throughout the day with some amazing companies, and many of them just arrived last night from other countries worldwide. We're going to have also some great customers of Nexenta, partners of Nexenta. We will have Alyssa Murphy from GoDaddy, Sumit Sadana from SanDisk later on. We're going to have TK Kurian, CEO at Wipro, Alan Atkinson from Dell, Tom Torlakson, and Mohamed Chaudhary from SVF. Tom is for those who don't know, is the superintendent for state of California. If California was a country, which it is, it's a foreign country, he would be our Ministry of Education for those folks coming from overseas. So he's our education head, basically, in the States. We're going to talk about education a little bit. Then we're going to have a great guest. You saw the invitations. First time in the US, we're going to have a humanoid giving a talk. It's going to be interesting. First, when I talked about this, people didn't believe it's possible. But now we're getting into true AI, true Internet of Things. Now we're talking about Internet of Humans, I guess. This humanoid can channel emotion and is going to have a little bit of chat, and it's feisty. Then we're going to have Jill Ellis, world champs, U.S. national soccer team, women's soccer team, the 3rd world championships. I don't know how many championships the men's soccer team won so far. Do you guys know? Let's leave it at that. So Jill is the coach, and they use technology to win these championships, and you're going to be blown away how they use technology, how they score goals, and how every pass is planned, designed based on Internet of Things and big data. How they analyze every game, competition game, and the next day they score goals based on those plans. It's unbelievable. So Jill is going to be part of that fireside chat. We have Steve Milligan thereafter with panel 1, blue chip companies, many C-level executives. And then we're going to have a startup panel with companies, privately held companies, CEOs from amazing companies are going to come up. Quick, speed date style, no slides, high-level conversation about their companies. And then we're going to have a 3rd panel, public-private partnerships, some amazing stories in tech collaboration around open source. A few universities going to be on the panel, like CU Denver. Going to talk about technology education now in colleges of engineering and how it's changing. It's not all about applications like Uber and Yelp, but how do we solve really difficult problems with big data, with Internet of Things, and all these other things relating to intelligence and AI. So we're going to talk about some of those collaboration between universities, states, and companies like ourselves. And then we're going to have a great journalist join us. How many of you know Chris Miller from The Register? One of my, everybody knows, but you're ashamed. You know why? Because Chris is an amazing journalist out of Register in the UK. He made a trip all the way here for this event. He joined, and he's very productive. I don't know if you follow him. He probably pushes out 3-4 articles a day. I do media PR a lot, and I work with a lot of journalists. They usually wash their hairs, and they're in the room, by the way, take a lot of vacations, and they write whenever they feel like. He's a machine. He is super productive, and customers love to talk to Chris because he gives the real deal. And he has that beautiful British humor on top of that, and he's going to give a quick fireside talk about what's real. What are all these announcements are all about, all these press releases and so on. What's the real deal, real deal in the technology? And then we're going to have Jeff Colvin, the book you guys are seeing. He writes a lot of books about robotics, AI, and the human workforce, and what's going on in the industry. As we're doing more AI, more robotics coming into the industry, how are we going to teach our children for the next generation jobs? And it's an amazing book. He is affiliated with Harvard. He is a senior editor at Fortune and Time, and really glad to have him. And he's fantastic, humorous, and he's going to talk about a little bit the next Gen X education and workplace dynamics. And we're going to finish it with Pepper again, and Pepper is going to take pictures, individual pictures with the folks. I know a lot of people flew here. Some people are also bringing their children to meet Pepper and talk about life in general. So that's the high-level agenda. Again, thank you for coming in here. This is our 10th year as Next Sunday as the software-defined storage player. We're super happy to be here. We made several announcements this week with VMware, around VMworld, around many things VMware announced. The IT industry changing super fast, and those changes creating a lot of challenges for our customers. And obviously, customers and partners are looking for amazing solutions. And on that note, I would love to bring here a dear friend of ours, Carl Eschenbach, the president at VMware. Carl, give a big hand. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. Carl was giving me a hard time. Where are my orange shoes? I promised him 10 and a half, you said?
10 and a half,
10 and a half. Cesar is working on it. So you're going to have it. I'm going to hand deliver.
Okay,
That's
very good. Thank you.
So good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Tarkan.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, I thought I was awake, and then when you started talking, I really woke up. So you got a little energy going, as always, Tarkan. It's great to see you, and so energized about all you're doing, and thanks for participating at VMworld this year.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll tell you for the folks don't know, you might not know Carl, but obviously everybody knows Carl, but you might not know him in person. To me, personally, he's one of the most amazing presidents, executives in IT, because he probably gets 10,000 emails a week, and I never saw him miss an email. You get a response from Carl, a call or email or text, in a matter of minutes. I don't know how you do it. I think you have an AI, Pepper, working for you. Exchange, answering those emails all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you for being such an amazing partner to us, supporting us, and really appreciate it.
Thank you. No problem. Yeah, the email response, I started that, a long time ago, and now I'm kind of regretting it because everyone expects the responses. But I have rules where I go to bed, my email's clean, and by the time I wake up in the morning, there's hundreds more from people. Europe's always awake, or APJ's always awake, so someone's always awake in the world. So, and I had a man teach me one time, always keep your desk clear and your inbox clear, because there's only going to be lots more coming, so just be prepared for it.
Very true, very true. So, Carl, thank you for being here. You guys made tons of announcements this week. A lot of things are changing. Maybe a little bit about these announcements you made at VMworld in general.
Yeah.
EMEA is coming up also. You guys are going to be in Barcelona, October timeframe, early, mid-October-ish. Talk about a little bit the latest and greatest for some of these folks. So some of them just arrived yesterday, so.
Yeah, sure. So, another great VMworld for us, Tarkan. I think we set a record attendance. We had over 23,000. I think we hit 23,500. I told the marketing team where I come from, that rounds to 24,000. But we said we had more than 23,000 people. We had more than 7,000 partners this year at the event. And, the partner ecosystem is critically important to VMware, not only for the attendance of something like VMworld, but all the customers that they bring. And VMware very much prides ourselves on being an open ecosystem company. And if you were at the show this year and you walked through the Solutions Exchange, you'd see, I think 400 plus, partners of VMware there, just participating in this event. And you couldn't miss your booth. As always, it was bright orange, and we really thanked everyone for participating. But it's just a great show this year. Our theme was Ready for Any, and we used Ready for Any because Ready for Any can be used in many different contexts. And And the core of Ready for Any is we want to make sure that our customers are ready for any business challenge or opportunity that may come their way. And VMware, being a deep technology infrastructure company, wants to be ready for any application, whether it's traditional application, cloud native application, open source technology. We want to be able to capture that and be ready to run any applications our customers desire going forward. So we had a great theme this year, and we had a whole bunch of exciting announcements. So some of the highlights for me, Tarkin, we spent a lot of time this year talking about what we call a unified hybrid cloud. It's this notion of eliminating the distinction between on-premise IT and off-premise IT, and really the ability to build an application and run it either on-premise or off-premise, and then be able to federate and move that workload back and forth seamlessly. And we announced a whole bunch of really cool technologies that allow people to do that. So we showed on stage this year a live virtual machine running on-premise, literally moved it into a public cloud, leveraging long-distance vMotion and NSX, a great networking technology that we've brought to market. And it was the first time anyone's ever done this. You know, people typically have a siloed on-premise cloud or they run things in the public cloud. But that unification is something, you know, we don't think anyone else in the industry can do, and we really showcase that here this week. We had a whole bunch of exciting announcements as it pertains to our end-user computing business. It continues to pick up momentum. We're the industry leader, we believe, in desktop virtualization, and with our acquisition of AirWatch, I guess, now 18 months ago.
Going real well?
Yeah. I tell people all the time, you too, for about $1.3 billion, can become an industry leader in a market segment. And that's what we did when we got AirWatch, but we've expanded our market leadership position even further since the acquisition, and we're really excited about announcements in that area. In fact, you know, for the first time ever, if you were at the general session, I guess it would have been Tuesday morning, we had Microsoft on stage with us.
That was amazing, by the way. I was getting like all the texts.
Yeah.
Can you believe this?
It was
amazing.
Really good. So, you know, with our MDM solution with AirWatch, we can now support Windows 10. Which
they're in the room, by the way. Just want to let you know. Yeah.
Listen, we love the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
So it was just, you know, it just again showcased how open VMware is to partnering. So that was a really exciting announcement. Then we had a bunch of announcements around our virtual SAN technology. Right. Released the next release of virtual SAN. We had some exciting announcements.
You love vSAN, baby.
Yeah, so it's interesting because a lot of people think that Nexent is a direct competitor of VMware with a technology like virtual SAN, when in fact, when you bring them together, it just provides incremental business value for our customers. And Tarkin, the creative guy that he is, announced this week that he's actually giving away to all vSAN customers their software for free for 12 months. And free support with that.
That's a key thing.
Yeah. So a great opportunity for all of our existing customers to get access to your technology and really start to see the integration and how we can work together. So lots of exciting announcements in that area. And then we've announced just the continued evolution of what I would describe of the software-defined data center, where we continue to bring more functionality into the integrated stack between network, compute, and storage, and highly automated, so lots of exciting announcements there. And then the last one that just continues to pick up momentum is our NSX technology, which is our network virtualization. I think we're disrupting a networking industry that, quite frankly, hasn't been disrupted in many years, and it's moving from a hardware-centric, rigid environment to a very fluid software environment with network virtualization. So lots of really exciting announcements around it. And it's a great opportunity for us to showcase here at VMworld. And I always say, you know, I say both to employees, customers, and our partners, if you ever have a lull in your year, just let the lull start happening at the beginning of the summer. Come to VMworld and you're ready for another year, because the innovation engine every year comes out loud and proud here at VMworld from both us and our partners.
That's totally true. And by the way, I love Carl. Carl shows up, you're having a coffee. So how many leads did you guys get in your booth? I love the question. These are the questions I asked first. I'll tell you from our background, and there are customers, partners in the room throughout the day. This was one of our best, I think this was our best VMworld ever. Yeah. And it's getting better every year, which is the theme here. So having said that, what's next, Carl? I mean, maybe I'll frame the question and then it's up to you how you want to go through it. We were just talking about this in the last year. There are all these new dynamics going on around OpenStack. You made some amazing announcements around that. Containers, a lot of work around that. You made announcements around that. Actually, we were doing a joint initiative on that. With vCloud Air, a lot of activity going on. So what's next at a high level? Obviously, VMware is a public company. You need to make sure that the data is carefully framed. But at a high level, where are you seeing that things are moving from here to next year?
If I say anything wrong, I'm going to say it was Tark's
It's my fault
anyway. So
nobody's going to blame you on that.
Yeah, of course. So maybe a couple things, Tark. So if you just look at our industry as a whole, I think we're seeing some of the biggest technology and secular shifts we've ever seen in the history of our time. In fact, I often say our customers at times are paralyzed because there's so much going on. Do I run on-premise? Do I go off-premise? Do I leverage open source technologies? Do I leverage prepackaged solutions that they can get from other technology vendors? Do I go software defined? Do I go hardware defined? And at the same time, there's a whole bunch of pressure coming from our customers at the board level to make sure everything's secure. So even when it's secure, they're being asked to be even more secure. So there's just a whole bunch of things going on in our industry right now, probably more than we've ever seen, at least in my, I guess 28 years of experience. And I think over the next 10 years, we'll see more things happening in IT. And more disruption in a positive way than we've ever seen in the past. And the challenge is, how do customers, as well as technology companies like us, adjust to this market transition? And the ones who can make that adjustment most, quickest will be the most successful. One of the things VMware is focused on, and you probably have seen this come out over the last couple of years, is, a lot of people over the years have always said, VMware is going to be put out of business by the open source community, right? And if I go back, a decade ago, I remember when there was a company called Connectix, if you remember them,
right,
bought by Microsoft, and then Microsoft had a free product, Hyper-V 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever they're up to. It was OpenStack, right? And now there's containers, and every year there was a new company or a new open source project that was going to actually impact VMware, and somehow we keep plowing along. And the reason we've been so successful, even despite the open source movement, is because we are open to open. We actually embrace the open source community. We embrace your open ZFS file system, right? So if you see what we're doing is we're saying, we're not trying to get a customer locked into a specific architecture or technology. We want to leverage open source because the open source community and the movement is extremely good for our industry. And I think it would be disingenuous of us to say, we don't support open source technologies, because anything that can drive business, agility faster, we want to support. So at the show this year, to your point, an example is, we talked about our VMware integrated OpenStack solution. Right. We have over 50 million virtual machines running on the private cloud, but people like the richness of the APIs in the OpenStack. So last year we announced VMware integrated OpenStack, and now we distribute it and it runs on top of us. And now, the most recent technology that is really gaining momentum in the market is containers. The ability to rapidly spin up in a very small format, applications through the developer community. And we support it as well. In fact, we've announced some of our own distribution of container technology, and we're supporting that really aggressively, because we fundamentally believe, one of the things VMware has done over the years is brought a consistent infrastructure framework and delivery model to IT. And we just think, where we started here, 10, 12, 13 years ago to where we're going today, we can still have that same platform, continue to drive innovation in the platform, but be accepting and receptive of all these new technologies simultaneously. So, we're really embracing open source. At the same time, listen, we're a very aggressive, progressive company, and we think we have some of the best technology on planet Earth. So we'll continue to innovate ourselves organically, and then we'll continue to do inorganic innovation through strategic acquisitions as well. So I think the key is, we use this term actually, our new market texture message is one cloud, any app, any device. And we want to allow people to run on a unified cloud, supporting any application, and get access to it through any device in a very secure way is kind of how we messaged here at the show this year. And in the end, we say, we want our customers to be able to innovate like a startup, and run like an enterprise. And if you can get those two blended, you'll stay ahead of the curve, but protect your existing intellectual property of the data center you have today.
Love that. By the way, we're paying no royalties to VMware because we stole their theme. We're using the same story, ready for any. Don't tell your CMO.
Oh, no problem.
The friendship helps sometimes. On that note, Carl and I, we were talking about, actually, we have TK Korean coming up later on, CEO at Wipro. We have Anuj Bala here. Is Anuj, he's still drinking? Yeah, they're still drinking at the VMware party. Thank you, Ram. We'll talk about this later. So actually, Ram runs the company. Usually CEOs are not running the company. He's the puppeteer in the back end. But to make long story short, I was talking to Anuj and TK yesterday. It's a perfect example, actually. Glad you brought this up with open to open, which is a phenomenal story. Wipro itself, internally, they're deployed all vSphere, all VMware, your technology on top. They do some container work, Nexenta. Some work around Canonical and some of the Linux work going on with that. Perfect example. And beyond anything else, Carl, you told me, actually, they're delivering this as a service to their customers.
Yeah, so what we're doing with Wipro, we're partnering to deliver, virtualized desktops, in their own infrastructure. And Wipro's great at this. They're a great partner of ours, where they actually, I call it drink your own champagne, because eating your own dog food's, I guess, the old term now. So they like to build infrastructure services to support Wipro themselves, and then they turn that as a showcase opportunity to go externally with it. So with what we're doing together, with you running on top of vSAN and delivering these virtualized desktops is a great story. I think you guys had an announcement probably Monday.
Correct. Very, very correct.
And now we're going to turn that into a service and take it into the market and offer it to our joint customers. So it's amazing. Really exciting.
A lot of great examples like that. One other example is actually, obviously this is maybe a little self-promo, but I think it's important because a few universities are going to be here later. We were doing a session at your event with some of your amazingly energetic SEs and so on. It was a geeky show, kind of like this, but even geekier. And one topic was, someone asked, this is going to cost a lot of money. And the answer was, there was someone at the panel actually, hey, look, we're a university, we have no budget. And we had to do this because we were cutting costs, using VMware, some of the NSX technology you mentioned. Obviously, some Cisco work on top of that, and also some OpenStack work with the vSpheres running everything at the end of the day. So we're getting a lot of these examples. University of Toronto is here, is that joint customer. So amazingly open-to-open story, and we're hearing this everywhere. So obviously next year is going to be even crazier. So next year, VMworld, we're changing locations? Are we going to be here?
We announced,
what are we doing?
So the Moscone Center is going through a construction and upgrade to the facility. I think it starts actually probably after the Salesforce event in Oracle World. So we had to move out of town for a few years. We love being in San Francisco. We feel like it's in our backyard, right, being a Palo Alto-based company. But for the next couple of years, we had to move out to do the construction work, and we're going to Las Vegas. So we announced that at the show, I guess, probably Tuesday. So, so we're moving out of San Francisco, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but we'll be back, I'm sure, in due time once the renovation's done.
I'll tell you, half of the room going, Vegas, baby. So
it's always this, it's funny. Some people, it's good, Vegas is good. Some people, it's not. So, hopefully we'll get the same attendance.
I'm sure we will make it good. So one other thing is, now moving from technology and VMware into maybe a little bit personal. Personal meaning there are a lot of CEOs in the room, a lot of CIOs, CTOs from large companies, small companies, and so on. And you've been doing this for some time now, even though you look like still you're 25. By the way, someone made a comment like, he's looking really good, doesn't he? Usually in IT is people spending so much time. For those who don't know, Carl works out starting at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. I hear the crazy stuff. How is your work schedule? Can you inspire us a little bit? I need to lose weight. What are you doing? How do you keep so good looking?
Well,
he's married.
I don't know. I'm not sure how to answer. I may actually just leave, because anything I say, I'm going down.
No, they're not going to go. Seriously. By the way, people ask me to ask the question. It's not I'm not being cheeky. Seriously.
First of all, I'm the luckiest man in the world. I've been at VMware now over 13 years. I joined, I had about 200 people, and I joined, at the time with Diane Green, an amazing founder, and didn't know what the hell virtualization was. Didn't really, I was in infrastructure, more networking infrastructure and software. But I joined, and we are almost 20,000 employees later.
Amazing.
Yeah, for me, I come to VMworld every year. I pinch myself, and it's just been an amazing ride and journey, and I'm lucky to be part of the team. Listen, I have a crazy schedule. My comms partner is sitting over there, and she even wore an orange shirt for you today, Tarkin. But I'm probably too structured in certain aspects. But I get up every morning at 4:15 to 4:30. Go to the gym every day. Even when I travel sometimes between 250 and 300,000 miles a year, depending on the year. So it just keeps me. I want to say, obviously, physically fit to stay healthy, to try to keep up with the pace of now the younger generation of workforce coming into VMware. But it's more for me mentally. It's just a mental release to keep you sharp, keep you on top of your game, and I just try to stay healthy. And I have a great family. Actually celebrated last night.
I was going to mention.
My wife drove up from Los Altos, and we celebrated our 25th anniversary last night. So
awesome. Great story.
So it was pretty cool. I mean, I said, I'll love you more the next 25 if you love me more. And she said, I got to think about that. You brought me to VMworld. So, and I got 3 children that are the pride of my life. And so I just try to keep it all in perspective. Fantastic. And just remain grounded. Titles mean nothing. It's all about how you treat people and just being part of a good team.
And Carl, truly, you inspire me personally. You're a mentor to me and how you live your life, and really appreciate the partnership. You guys have been amazing, and I guess we'll see you in Vegas for sure next year. Yeah. Bigger event.
Yeah. We'll see some of you, and we'll go to Europe for VMworld Europe in Barcelona, and we expect to have typically 10,000 people. And then we actually, after that, it doesn't stop there. We go throughout Asia, and we expect to have probably 40 to 50,000 people at what we call VM forum or V forums throughout, Japan, China, Australia, Korea, India. I think we're in Malaysia. So we just, keep this rolling thunder throughout the rest of the year and keep the momentum going, and it's partners like you that make this all possible, and customers who continue to like our technology.
Absolutely, and we're going to be there with you, 100%. We're like the cable guy. I'm here, I'm your friend. I know he thinks sometimes I'm sending emails all the time, and he always responds. I'm like, this is amazing. How does he do that? Yeah. So thank you so much for the partnership and for joining us every year. Really appreciate it, and everybody here appreciates it. I know, Carl, you have a lot of meetings going on, but you're here until 6 p.m. Okay. I know Pepper is going to be waiting for you for a photo shoot. If you're available, would love to. And by the way, his shoe size is 10.5. Says that you're taking notes, right? We're going to hand deliver. Not only for you, for the entire family. Oh, you got to check with all the shoe sizes. I want those orange shoes in Los Altos running around.
Okay, there you go. Very good.
Thank you so much. You're the best. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Keeping it real is amazing. And by the way, as Carl talked about, our theme, and we tied it to VMware theme about any. Ready for any, not only for the technology itself, but for any user, any workload, any kind of a stack, any kind of a protocol, any type of hardware. We want to make sure the customers have options so they can innovate fast, move fast. Speaking of moving fast, innovating fast in a fast way for their customers, next up, another dear friend.